Hey, you ever have that problem of getting the right value, the right design in your landscapes? Well, come along with me and I'll take you on this little journey with me through this seascape that I've got going on here. My main desire for this painting was to capture a sunset on the water. So I am working here on this piece from a plein air piece that I did, and you'll see some of that here in just a few minutes. But right now, as I'm just kind of laid in just an overall, it's called a gristle, kind of like a just a wash of the transparent, or not transparent, but permanent red medium, and that's the orange background that you see here. And I'm laying in just where I want my darks to be in the boats that are in the final painting as we go. So I'm being very careful here at this front end of the painting just to get my shapes down just a little bit, and I'm testing to see about shapes and just designing my little boats on the water here. I tend to work carefully in the beginning, and then I want to establish my pattern and my overall harmony pretty early on. And that's why I love doing this gristle for a background. That red usually shows through as a final highlights, kind of, so to speak. In the finished painting, you can kind of see the red background, and you'll see it here in just a sec. And hopefully it'll convey. But now I'm working on kind of the sky. I want to lay in where I want to my shadow parts of the clouds that are in the sky, and just kind of going about this, doing a real light scrumble of the paint, and not really applying too much paint right now. I just mainly want to design where I want your eye to go. Like, I'm bringing that brushstroke down to keep your eye back down into the main subject of the painting. I'm also doing real scuffling of the sky, kind of getting an idea for how the value of the sky is going to work with all of that. So I'm just loosely putting in some brush strokes here and there. Again, a little scrumble. I try to lay in, every time I try to lay in a brush stroke, the next brush stroke I try to lay in a little bit differently. To me, that helps with giving an emotional feel. It gets a little abstract, but yet, as long as you got the values right, you can kind of play around with that, so to speak. Here's a picture of session number 1 or 2, and here I am starting back into it. That was just a little preview of a little bit more of the painting. So here we are back into it. I'm mixing right now. I'm thinking about mixing my darks still, and I'm just kind of mixing down below. I usually spend a lot more time mixing than I actually do painting, mainly because I get my high from the actual mixing of the colors. And I think that if we spent more time down on the palette area, it's easier for me when I go to lay in the true color in the end. It helps with it helps keep it fresh. So there's some. So if you'll notice at the bottom of that screen, there's a little painting down below, and I have a little bit of acetate on top of it, and that's how I came up with these colors. I'm working from a plein air piece. You can just kind of catch the top of it, but I use those plein air pieces for reference for larger pieces that I can spend more time with in the studio, and you can kind of live in the paintings a little bit more. So here I am laying in some more of the sky. Hope you guys like what you see, and don't hesitate to leave me a comment or somewhere down below, and I just want you to, in this downtime where we're kind of watching me feverishly get this painting in. If you got some downtime to take a look at my website, I invite you to look at my website and just go to my website. It's thomasbradshaw.net, and you can see more of these paintings. Now I'm starting to lay in a little bit. Once when the sky goes down to the horizon, it gets a little cooler and it gets grayer as it goes to the horizon, and that's the reason. The reason for that is because of all the more particles in the air, and you can't see as well through all that humidity and particles in the air. So the horizon line needs to be a little bit grayer than the rest of the blue. And we're getting a little close-up look of the rest of the painting here, and hope you enjoy. Take care.